Hello YouTube, this is the Java Programmer. In this video we are going to write some indicators, and the problem is that the first part of this video I recorded and then I lost it, so I'm actually doing this again for the second time. We have our client here that we've been working with. As you know, I tend to write code that I would like to work, and then I go and implement it. With this code that we have here, my idea was that we create a indicator class. In this case, we call it the EMA indicator, and we pass in the parameters that we want. However, we'll work with this somewhat later. We comment out the instrument. Upon looking at this code, I think I want to change it yet again. We have this data instrument class, and I don't want to put that in the other code. I want to make use of that. That's the reason why we wrote it. So we have an instrument. We want to pass that to the indicator. And then we will pass in a config. So for instance, our config might look like that, but I want to make a generic config also. So if we said indicator config equals new indicator config, and then we said config dot set property, and this is going to be just arbitrary. So for instance, something like that. So this way we could actually use the same config for both indicators, which I kind of like. I'm not sure that that's going to be the best, but for now let's go with it. So we have MACD fast, slow, and signal. 26 and 9. So what we're going to do here is, instead of we should be able to create these indicators passing in the config. So this way, let's see, in goes here. I'm trying to think about this. I'm wondering if the instrument should go in the config or not. I'm trying to think if I'd do multiple indicators or the same config across multiple instruments. I guess it could be the case if you're going to do some strategy with multiple chart types. I'm not sure this is the best plan, and we might have to revisit this later. But for now, I think this is what we're going to do. So again, here, this MACD, we got to do that. So because these classes don't exist, everything seems to be happy down below. So let's create these. Indicator config, I think, is going to go in our models. So let's put it under models. I don't think we need a constructor for now, but we're going to need a set property method. So if we set this property, this is going to be a integer property. So properties equals new properties. I think we can use a properties class. I'm not sure what objects we can put in there, but let's see what we can do. Properties dot set property key and value, and it wants them to be strings. So I think we can do this. Name, and we're gonna have to say string dot value of integer. And so we're going to have a public int get property passing in a name. And that will return a properties dot get property name dot to, no, it's going to be dot val, nah. So that's a string, so it's going to be, I think it's integer dot parse string. Yes, there we go. So now we can at least place integer values in and out of our indicator config. So that should take care of all of these. Why is config duplicate? Oh, I have a configuration helper. All right, so ind config. So we have our indicator config set property. Why doesn't it like this? Oh, it's still looking at the wrong class. Oh, we'll get there. Okay, config. We need this to be the indicator config. And it all the red goes away. Okay, so now let's look at creating these classes. Now, we're going to have to create a generic indicator, which is going to hold our data instrument. So create class. And that's going to go in models also. I'm going to create constructor. And we're going to super the data instrument. And then we're going to say config this dot config equals config private extends indicator. Okay, so we got to create the superclass, create class indicator under models. Yep. Right, create the class. Now we got to create the constructor. Create constructor. Private instrument. This dot instrument equals instrument. There we go. And this private needs to be protected so that the people that extend this, the classes that extend this, can use it. There we go. Okay, why? Yeah. Okay. So what's this look like now? All right, so we only need a MACD indicator. So let's create that class. It's going under models. Extends indicator. Add constructor. I think that's what we need. All right. Oh, this needs our I see, this is not what we wanted. Let's try this in case, and our config. I guess every let's see. Maybe we want every indicator to pass into config. Yeah, let's do that. So let's be consistent about this anyway. So pass an instrument and a config. Let's see, protected indicator, config, and then this dot config equals config. All right. Think we're good. This should go away. Yep. All right. So now we're going to take these and we're going to put them in here. So let's create a get history. So what is a get history going to return? Get history is going to return something like this. So we have instrument dot get history, and we're going to pass an amount. So this is where we're going to hard code an amount. So protected integer history amount equals probably, I don't know, let's go with 300 for now. I think that seems like a reasonable number to generate. Obviously, if we're doing a 200, let's see if we do a 200 moving point average. We might need to bump this to 500. And maybe we need to override this in the future, but for now, we're going to go with this. So let's return the instrument.getHistory. So that takes care of these. And I think our MACD is going to need the same. Let's do this. Let's make it so that our indicator class requires this method to be in any class that extends it. Alright, so anybody that extends this now has to have a get history. So that should take care of our, and also we're going to need a get points as well. So it's going to return this. So indicator public abstract get points. Okay. So everybody has to implement these two methods. So let's see, why are we red? We're red because we need unimplemented methods. Okay. So here we are going to return instrument.get EMA, passing in our get history and our config.get property. And what was our property name? I forgot already. Our property name was EMA period. Okay, so that should get the history, and that should get our EMA. So that takes care of this call. So now let's move this one over to the MACD class. So that takes care of that. And now if we go here, that's our. Now we have to add unimplemented methods. Okay. So we don't need to do a get history because nothing does that. So instrument dot get MACD, pass it to bars, which is going to be, oh, yep, we're going to need our history. Yep, get history, and this is going to be config dot get property. I can't remember the name. I think it was MACD slow. All right, I think that's correct. So I don't know the history. I think the history is can be put up at the indicator level. I don't think we need to do this here. I think we can do that. Except that's the wrong one. We need the EMA history, this one. That's what we're going to put here. So the get points is going to do something different. Let's see, save. All right, what did we call this? We called it the MACD fast, the MACD slow, and the MACD signal. Okay. So you're probably wondering why we did this. Well, when it comes to the signal manager might need multiple indicators, and it's going to potentially do get history on those and do compares and all sorts of stuff. So for now, we have these indicators. They take in an instrument and a config. You can see here we shared the config. We also shared the instrument so that both indicators were able to use it. I don't think we have any red, so let's see if this actually runs. Or if we get failure. I'm gonna guess maybe failure. And be surprised otherwise. Oh, that looks like we got it. So there's the MACD chart, and here is our other chart. So if I line these up, let's see, 30, 17, 30, and whoops. Line this one up. That looks about right. So this video is come to an end, and stay tuned for our next set of videos, which I'm not sure which way we're going to go yet. Thanks for watching. This is the Java Programmer.